Mavis, here we are
Hello,
discussing
Rob.
the burning question. So, the burning question that we put out on our social media and our newsletter is it okay to do a wee-wee in your wetsuit? And it was an unbelievable reaction to it. Can you tell me what you think that the resounding answer was?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a big thumbs up for having a pee in your wetsuit. It's much needed.
Yeah.
I reckon the actual figure is probably higher than the figure you have because I think there's a few people that like to think they don't pee in their wetsuit, but they secretly do. Um,
Secret peers, the worst kind. Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know, 70%.
Yeah. Well, they should come clean. Yeah, 88% of the bodyboarding public, Bodyboard Holidays fans anyway, or followers, they wee in their wetsuit, and there's a whole host of reasons on here how it's justified. Some of them do up to three wees in a session. Some of them drink few liters of water before they go into the ocean, so that they're pee ready. And others say that it's absolutely fine to do it as long as you open up your wetsuit net, give it a swish round, and it's half an hour before the end of your surf. So there's personal policies in place on this, Maeve, which is interesting. Somebody's saying it's all right to wear in your wetsuit, but definitely not poo, which I think is important to clarify. And then there's others that say weeing's fine, but if it's a burning wee, getting mixed up with a burning question here, perhaps, then it's a definite issue that needs
Trip
to
to the
be looked at.
doctors.
Yeah, yeah. So you say that you're an avid wetsuit wearer. Have you got any tales of your um life as a wetsuit wearer?
Yeah, I always go with the 20-minute rule. So yeah, give yourself at least 20 minutes after a wee, and that gives enough time to be flushed out. And then when you get out, the suit doesn't smell. So I go for the 20-minute over the 30-minute that's in the comments.
I've never even
Um,
given this thought. That's
but I've always passed on that 20-minute rule. And actually, just on the last trip we had here in Portugal, we had all the Hawaiians, didn't they? They're not used to
yeah.
wearing wetsuits. And one of them, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, he pulled me aside, just sort of quietly asked. He was like, do people pee in the wetsuits? And I was like, yeah, of course, and told him the 20-minute rule. And then I overheard him sharing that with the rest of the crew as if I'd given them the sort of like the secret sauce to
Right.
life.
Maybe we should
Uh,
put it in the terms and conditions, like
and he was using one of Joel's wetsuits, so I was like, go for it.
Oh yeah, that's good of you. Yeah, nice.
Um, and yeah, I also resonate with one of the comments where they said, yeah, how do people not pee? Unless you're only in the water for 45 minutes. Yeah, if you're any longer, you're going to have to pee in that time, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you'd imagine
um,
so.
but I did, and again on another Bodyboard Holidays trip, one client, I won't name or shame, but they had a wetsuit that almost had this like, can you describe it as like an inverted whale's penis that you sort of pulled out the neoprene and you could pee while surfing. Um, I've never seen it since. It never really took off, but there are solutions for those that are worried
Yeah.
about deteriorating their wetsuit with wee.
For sure. I mean, I've never seen a wetsuit like that, and I've never seen a Wales willy either. So it would be an education on both fronts. But that and that was on a trip, was it? Just
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
out.
was demonstrated in the water. Practical, but yeah,
Oddly enough, Matt Hawkins shared a picture of one of those on the feed, on the Facebook feed, I think it was, of something of the sort. So yeah, that must be the same design.
yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe if you can get a photo of it, pop it up here on the video,
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah.
people can see. Um, and yeah, I remember growing up surfing a lot in Cornwall, and a good friend of mine, especially in the winter when it was cold, we'd go for a surf, have a pee, get out, and we'd surf again in the afternoon, and we'd dry our wetsuits in any local laundrette. And I remember one time we put our stinky wetsuits in the dryer, and after 30 minutes on a cycle, two wee-ridden wetsuits in the laundrette, you open the dryer, and it really stinks. And I remember pulling these wetsuits out once, this lady coming in with all her like clean white bed linen and just putting that in the machine after we'd taken our wetsuits out. So stinky bed linen.
Scuzzy body.
Um, yeah, there was always another friend of mine. We'd share rides from when I went to university at Plymouth, share rides to the North Coast. And yeah, sure enough, he never followed the 20-minute rule. And on the drive back, my little Renault Clio would just be steaming up with the smell of his weed, his
The
wetsuit.
steamy winter wee smell.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, I think
Yeah,
I've been surrounded by the pee and wetsuit since the beginning. So
definitely. Well, there is advice out there that you shouldn't wear in your wetsuit. It's supposed to deteriorate the seams. I know that it does. I know I've
mm,
tried and tested that. And I know you can get your seams remended. There's a place in Body called Bodyline in Newquay that fixes the groins of wetsuits. They say they get a lot of them in there, so that's an interesting task. And there's certain wetsuit cleaner you can get, isn't there?
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
an avid wetsuit washer, I must admit. It sometimes comes off in the shower with me and therefore gets a rinse. But a rinse of the wetsuit after a wee, I imagine, it will be the key to
Mm.
increasing the life of your wetty, giving it, they actually call it piss off, don't they? Is the stuff that one of the brands makes, which is
True, that's true.
quite a decent choice of name. But yeah, okay, well, good. Thank you. That's the burning question covered for this issue. I will let our readers, our followers, our viewers comment below. Let us know what they do in regard to wearing their wetsuit, what their belief and policy is, their personal activity, and we can find out a little bit more about it. So thanks very much for your time, Maeve.
No problem. Happy
Catch up
to
with you on the
enlighten the world.
yeah, I'll catch up with you on the next one. Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
Rob. Bye bye.